The moment they come into power, Israel imposes this brutal economic blockade on Gaza. The blockade is then seconded by the United States, the EU, and the screws. They're turning the screws. And the reason was obvious. They said so. They said they wanted to make conditions in Gaza so terrible that the people would overthrow the regime, get rid of Hamas, which is, standard U.S., that's what you call standard operating procedure. If you remember, but you don't because you're way too young, when the Allende regime came to power in Chile, the United States started to impose the brutal economic sanctions on Chile. Allende was a socialist, very decent human being. Another one person who died at his post. He didn't have to. A famous scene, for viewers, if you're interested, to his death, he's on Moncada Palace holding a machine gun. He was a total bourgeois in his tastes, but he was absolutely sincere and committed. Salvador Allende. What did Kissinger say? It was a famous statement. He said, we are going to, you can Google this too, Kissinger scream. He said, we're going to keep turning the screws on Chile until the economy screams. And that's what Israel, the US, did in Gaza. They said, you can read the memos, they were going to put Gaza on a humanitarian minimum diet. And that meant literally they counted calories. Literally,
wow.
They counted calories. What is the number of calories per capita that we're going to admit into Gaza to keep it on the humanitarian minimum, which is just the euphemistic way of saying a starvation plus diet. And they said, we want to keep the Gaza economy on the precipice. Not total collapse, because then we'll get blamed for the humanitarian catastrophe, just at the edge of the precipice, a starvation plus diet. And I remember I was in Gaza, I can't remember which year now, but I remember talking to the proverbial cab driver. He said, and he had voted for Hamas, he said, the world wasn't ready for it. And so he regretted the vote. So when you say the people turned against Hamas, yes, there was a lot of alienation. But the fact of the matter is they were never given a chance.